this is not a recession indicator. This is not a depression indicator. This is like the empire has fallen indicator. Let's see this. Unfortunately, I know you're not allowed to show manifestos on Twitch. So let me take a quick little skim at this. Sorry, I'm like reading it because again, I can't really show it. Well, he proceeds to call Trump, I believe, a pedophile, rapist, and a traitor, and that everyone who showed up there was complicit to attend a speech by a rapist, pedophile, traitor. Says he is no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. Oh my god. And then he has like an entire section, I guess, after the original manifesto that he wrote that's like a PS where he just says that the security was fucking dog shit, essentially. And says that the security was a complete joke. This level of incompetence is insane. I very sincerely hope it's corrected by the time this country gets actually competent leadership again. Holy shit. Again, like I said, unfortunately, Twitch prevents me from showing it about any manifestos, so I can't show it. But there is one on the New York Post, and he ends it with it's a long piece on why you did, and he talks about how the security was horrible, and then he ends it by saying, "Going through with this feels awful. I can't recommend it. Stay in school, kids." I have to say, this is probably one of the most, this is such an outlier of a manifesto. Because most manifestos from most of like the lone wolves or whatever are like, I need to do this to right the wrongs in society and whatever. And I guess this is a good segue to talk about what we know about the shooter right now. But this guy was like a kind of a massive outlier. This is, I guess, the most comprehensive document so far I've seen or article I've seen on the shooter. Suspect in White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting wrote of targeting Trump administration. Cole Thomas Allen, 31, is accused of rushing a security checkpoint, armed with a shotgun, handgun, and knives, and exchanging gunfire with law enforcement. And I want to skip ahead a little bit here. Before the attack, Allen sent family members a note apologizing to his parents, colleagues, and others for what he was about to do, but wrote that he did not expect forgiveness, according to a transcript of some of Allen's writings provided by to NBC News by a senior administration official. I'm telling you, his security guys must hate him too. They just let potential shooters in. I mean, I can only imagine that the way that like the security checkpoints work for Trump is exactly the same as that one. Have you guys seen? I think it was like a Vine. It was like a Vine of like how it feels like to enter public schools in the United States. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Anyone at all know what I'm talking about? Oh man, I'll see if I can find it, but 1 second. I'm gonna do one more search. Maybe I can find it. Basically, it's just a skit of like this dude trying to like him and a bunch of other people entering a school, and they have like multiple guns out, and they're like, "Oh no, that's nothing. No, that's nothing. That's nothing." And then one kid is trying to bring like a water bottle in, and they stop him. I don't know if you guys know what I like. It's such an ancient video. It hits different to watch. I'm not describing it well. Have you seen TikTok being really quiet about this? I mean, under Ellison, yeah, I'm not surprised. RDC skit? Maybe it was. That sounds about right. Whatever. It's not relevant. Wait. Let's continue. I remember you actually did that. That was perfect. I could see it perfectly. Okay, well, thank you. Before the attack, he sent the family members a note apologizing to his parents, colleagues, and others for what he was about to do, but wrote that he did not expect forgiveness. In the note, Allen criticized Trump without mentioning him by name and said he did not intend to target guests and hotel employees. He also wrote about lax security at the hotel, saying he expected more. The senior administration official said that Allen's brother contacted the New London Police Department in Connecticut, where he received the note. The New London Police Department confirmed being contacted at around 10:49 p.m. Saturday, just over 2 hours after the shooting, by an individual who expressed concern about the incident that occurred at the White House Correspondents' Dinner earlier in the evening. But I want to skip ahead to, I'm sorry, really quickly. Can someone please tell me what exactly I'm missing here? Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche told NBC News earlier on Sunday that preliminary findings indicate the suspect was targeting administration officials. Blanche said that law enforcement authorities believe he took a train from Los Angeles to DC. Suspected he traveled by train from LA to Chicago? And then Chicago to DC, that would be like a 40-hour train ride. Amtrak, maybe there's like some Amtrak. In my experience with Amtraks, they fucking suck. And you usually have to do like there's usually like 4 bus rides you have to take to the Amtraks. It's really ass. There's a 43-hour train from LA to Chicago. That's amazing. I'm gonna say it, guys. It's how with all of those weapons, LOL. Let me say something, guys. This does not bode well for leftists. Or more specifically, this does not bode well for people on the left. Okay, he took the train from LA to Chicago, Chicago to Washington, where he checked into the hotel to meet Correspondence Center was in at least the last day or two. But I wanted to get to this. Public records and interviews show that Allen was a trained engineer who once interned for NASA, participated in the Nerf Club and Christian Fellowship at his prestigious California university, before more recently developing video games and working as a part-time teacher. Allen attended Pacific Lutheran High School in Gardena, California, where he was known for his inquisitiveness and intellect. A former volleyball teammate told NBC News, while he had not seen Allen recently, he remembered him as a borderline genius and, quote, super stable. Other people study hard, said the ex-teammate who spoke on the condition of anonymity out of fear it would affect his career. He didn't have to study. It would just come to him. He was really, really smart. The former teammate said Allen was interested in coding and computers, but he was also a very good writer and seemed to be well-versed in a number of subjects. Stop saying stable genius. Stop. The teammate said that across the board, he was really knowledgeable and curious. The teammate said they lost touch with him once he went off to California Institute of Technology, Caltech. The teammate said they lost contact with him once he went off to Caltech, private research university in Pasadena, but expressed surprise that he would be the suspect in Saturday's attack. He was probably one of the most gentle people. He was probably the most gentle person on the team, which makes it even more shocking that he did this, the ex-teammate said. According to his LinkedIn profile, Allen graduated from the California Institute of Technology, commonly known as Caltech, in 2017 with a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. The school confirmed it had a student named Cole Allen who graduated in 2017. While he was a Caltech student, Allen was a member of the winning group of the 31st Annual Mechanical Engineering 72 Design Competition, which involved building robots that could play soccer. In the 2016 competition, his 5-person group, Blitzkrieg Bots, competed against 4 other teams for the Tri-Droid Cup. Months later, Allen was featured in a local newspaper for developing a prototype emergency brake for wheelchairs. The wheelchair brakes tend to lock the wheels, but don't lock the chair to the ground. This device that'll prevent the chair from skidding at all. Outside of the classroom, according to his LinkedIn, Allen participated in the Caltech Christian Fellowship and Nerf Club. The LinkedIn profile indicates he obtained his Master's of Science degree in computer science from California State University in May 2025. So it's wild that we're getting to a point where the shooters aren't just depressed incels, but rational actors with prospects. After graduating from Caltech, Allen worked for a year as a mechanical engineer before becoming an independent video game developer and later as a part-time teacher at C2 Education, a company dedicated to helping high schoolers get into college. And I saw some people being like, well, why would you be a teacher, question mark, or something like that? I don't remember some earlier person saying that. But first of all, having spoken to teachers, especially part-time teachers, a lot of them do it because they like doing it, which is kind of crazy to say out loud, but actually it is true. Like, talk to any adjunct professor, or honestly, just talk to any TA, and a lot of them will tell you, or talk to part-time professors, and they will tell you they do it for fun. I had so many part-time professors when I went to college that they only taught 2 classes a semester. Maybe some of them only taught 1 class a semester. And they were like, it kind of doesn't pay for shit, but I like doing it. I have an actual job outside of this that I actually get paid for, but I just like doing it because it's enjoyable. That's it. I just like to teach. I like being in a classroom and I like teaching. And it's pretty straightforward and simple, but that's just what I like to do. Which, yeah. My read is also that maybe that he was underemployed. So I think that's a possibility, as much as it is a possibility that the hiring market is fucking shit, dude. I'm sorry, job market is shit. The number of people I know who will send out, like, literally hundreds of resumes that have bachelor's degrees in, like, good fields, in, like, STEM fields. And you will send out literally hundreds of resumes. And you won't even get an interview or a callback. You get like one callback and it's from some fucking scam company. I work with a few engineering students and like half of them were doing master's degrees because they can't get a job. Like it's actually obscene. I have a law degree. I had to apply to 150 jobs over 6 months to get my most recent job after being laid off. CS Masters here. I took 100. It took 100 plus applications for a single interview. Dealing with this right now because I think everyone expects like, okay, well, if you don't have a degree, if you don't have even an associate's, I guess it makes sense. But I know people who have like bachelor's degrees, like good grades, like 3.7 GPA or whatever, in the field that they're applying for, and they apply to like literally hundreds of jobs and will get like one interview attempt that doesn't pan out. It's like, okay. I also wouldn't be surprised if this guy also applied to like a billion jobs after he, I don't know, either maybe left or got let go or whatever, and his previous job as a mechanical engineer, and was like, because I know people who have applied in 2026 to hundreds of jobs and have gotten like one interview that didn't go anywhere. So I'm not shocked, and I wouldn't be surprised if at least part of this is just like people's material conditions going to shit and then turning to violence because they don't feel like they have another solution. And that's not justification, that's just analysis. In December 2024, C2 Education named Allen its Teacher of the Month. The article continues saying the same year, Allen donated $25 to Act Blue with the memo earmarked for Harris's campaign for president. According to Federal Election Commission filings in the donation, he listed his occupation as a teacher for C2 Education. According to LinkedIn, he began working as a self-employed indie game developer in September 2018 and appears to have released an atomic fighting game. Okay, I'm sorry. Can I say something really quickly? As someone who knows people who have worked on games, I'm pretty sure the only reason that you put on that you're a self-employed indie game developer is so that there isn't a massive gap in your resume. So that you don't have to deal with the annoying ass question when they're like, "There's a gap in your resume." I'm just curious, why do you have a gap in your resume? Ooh, yeah, we're looking for people who have no gaps in their resume. Ideally, 40 years of experience. Ideally, you have a PhD in sales. Yeah, and we'll pay you $10 an hour. Like, oh, okay. So, has anyone ever qualified for this position ever? Okay. I've had employers ask me about my resume gap when it was during COVID layoffs. Like, what do you think? What do you think, huh? I fucking hate boomers who got their job by wearing a tie in 1980s. In the 1980s, talking about resume gaps. It's like, uh-huh. Can you give a rundown of what happened and what you're reading? Was it actually a shooter? Yeah, there was the TLDR for anyone who's missed the news in the past 12 hours. There was a shooter who showed up to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And he got through security. He had a shotgun, another gun, and some knives. He shot one of the security people, but they're fine because they were wearing a vest, and they've since detained him. And other than that, we know that he's released a manifesto where he talks about why he did what he did. And this is everything else that we know about him. Now, a lot of people think it's a false flag because, like, oh, another case of like a shooter that didn't get anyone or anything and Trump is fine. And also, here's all this other stuff that's bizarre. Like, I saw like one person saying, like, this is the first time Trump has ever gone to a correspondence dinner, ever. And this happens the one time he goes. And now immediately everyone was tweeting about like, we need a better ballroom. We need the ballroom. Okay, and then let's continue here. Talks about the game. Records show Allen purchased a Maverick 12 gauge shotgun in August 2025. Records show he purchased precision semi-auto pistol, 38 pistol in 2023. Senior law enforcement official tells NBC News those were the two weapons. They are covered from Allen Saturday night. In the interview with law enforcement, Allen's sister confirmed he purchased 2 handguns and a shotgun from tactical firearms and kept them stored at their parents' home. According to senior administration officials, she added that their parents were unaware Allen was keeping the firearms in the house. Allen regularly went to the shooting range to train with his firearms and was part of a group called the Wide Awakes, the sister said in an interview. According to the official, he also allegedly attended a No Kings anti-Trump protest in California at some point. Jeanine Perot, a U.S. attorney for Washington, said the suspect would be charged with 2 counts of using a firearm during a crime of violence and a second crime of assault on a federal officer using a dangerous weapon. She added that many more charges were expected to be filed. And then we can continue. Okay, so yeah, it looks like that's all of the information that we know about him right now. Caroline Levitt also said that there would be shots fired. Yeah, and like now we're saying like, well, that was just a manner of speech, which it could be. But like, what a shit show world that we live in where like, it's impossible to tell what is and what is not a false flag. Oh, you missed the most important one. He was definitely, obviously motivated by Hassan. True. You forgot to mention the most important event, Cash getting cucked. Oh, don't worry. Well, we did. It's not mentioned in this article for some reason. Fucking fake news NBC. But yes, correct. Like, I'm sorry. Every time Trump has talked about Iran, it's been such a fucking joke. He started with, we're there for regime change. We're there because of the nukes. We're there for the people. We're there for the oil. We're there because Israel wants us to be there. We're there because of the Strait of Hormuz that we had closed. Wait, sorry, we're still there for the nukes or something? It's like, got it. Okay, all right. Okay, so everything is just a total lie? Or just everything is okay, got it. We don't even need to be there. Europe is the continent that should actually be there. The European nations should be there, not the United States. We don't even need the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, gas price is going up because oil is the price of oil is determined by the global market. Also, let me just say something really quickly. This is how you know there's no cope on my part. All of the previous shootings in the past, let's say 4 years, I feel like immediately it was obvious what the political leanings of those people were. So I feel like it was very obvious that the Charlie Kirk shooter was a groyper. Or wait, Tyler Robinson. Is that the alleged one? Yeah. Yes. I feel like it's very obvious that guy's a groyper. And all of the other shooters, it's very obvious that they're right-wingers. The only person that was like a weird one was Luigi Mangione, which seemed to be more of like a centrist. Politically confused, I would say. This is, I think, so far the first. They just released the manifesto. I can't read the manifesto on stream. Perhaps you could tell us specifically what the manifesto doesn't say. I mean, I talked about the basics of it, but getting back to the point that I was saying, because it's kind of related. Let me also just say, I feel like manifestos, when it's currently breaking news, that should be within the realm of like acceptable on Twitch. I understand like you're not allowed to like go back and read old manifestos for any particular reason, but if it's like current breaking news, I feel like it should be fine, but whatever, who cares? I will say, I think this is the first shooter that is probably a left-winger. I think every single shooter prior to this shooting in the past, like I said, let's say since the beginning of the Trump era of politics in this country, this is, I think, so far the first one that seems to be on the left. And by that, I mean probably a liberal. Probably. I think he's a Kamala stan. I mean, I don't think that he needs to be a Kamala stan, but if Luigi never had to cross paths with the medical system the way that he did, I think he would have stayed a libertarian coded tech bro. Correct. Absolutely correct. Libs are on the left now. I mean, in American politics, yes. Just because we don't consider them leftists doesn't mean that American media doesn't consider people who vote Kamala Harris to be on the left. There is being on the left and there is being on the right in American politics from an American lens. Liberals are not leftists, but in American media and in American consumption, if you are not a centrist and you are not a Republican, you are on the left. In the United States, liberals are so left that they're considered communists. I mean, they literally were calling Nancy Pelosi a communist. They're calling Mamdani a communist. Yeah, this guy seems like a centrist Christian guy to me. No, I think that this guy easily, I mean, again, you can like read the manifesto yourself and make your own judgment, but I think this actually might be the very, very first instance of someone who might be on the left. or might be a liberal. And every single previous one, and it lines up with the fact that like a lot of the details on this case are very different from a lot of the right wingers that commit violent acts. If you see like the manifesto, this is the best example or the best understanding that I can give you guys of why I think this. And I could be wrong. We'll see what happens. He just seems like he's anti-Trump. No, I think that there's other things in there. To get to the point that I'm trying to make, when right-wingers and centrists discuss violence, they discuss it as a necessity and that it is something that should be praised, that they should be praised for being brave, and that their cause is righteous, and that they should show no weakness. No, not even the cost of doing business. Even worse than that. That it's like there is no. This is just simply righteous. Whereas he ends this particular guy, the suspect right now, Cole Thomas Allen. He ends it by saying, "If anyone is curious about how doing something like this feels, it's awful. I want to throw up. I want to cry." And says he can't really recommend it. Stay in school, kids. Like that just doesn't read like what a right winger says about right before they commit a shooting. It doesn't read like a right winger. Kind of doesn't really read. It maybe is like a centrist, but it certainly does not read like a right winger. You have to understand that when right wingers commit violent acts like this, they are so completely certain, and they do not see any of how they feel as weakness. So this feels very lived up. This feels incredibly lived up. Is his motive the lack of a future as a tech grad? Well, he describes. For sure, I agree. Not right wing. Yes, 100%. I think it's unlikely this guy is a right winger. Again, Tyler Robinson, Groyper. That's an easy clock. Every previous shooter in the past 10 years, right wingers. Luigi is the one exception where it's like politically confused because it's not even correct to describe Luigi Mangione as a left winger, as a centrist, as a libertarian. He's just very politically confused. When you read the documents from Luigi Mangione, they contradict each other in the most bizarre ways possible. There's also no like self-aggrandizing in this manifesto. To summarize for you guys, basically the manifesto is saying that he committed these acts, or he wanted to commit these acts because the US's actions do represent the Americans who live in this country. And he says he is no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and a traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. He doesn't list any particular reason. He doesn't say if it's because of the Iran war. He doesn't say if it's because of... Oh, okay. So he does describe some of the things actually here. So there's like a section that he has, and it's called Rebuttals to Objections, where he talks about like... It's not really relevant, so I don't want to get too deep into the details. But the TLDR is he does mention detention camps, and he does mention fishermen that were executed, which is probably talking about Venezuela, almost certainly talking about ICE. And then he talks about the Epstein files, and he talks about school children getting blown up, which is probably about Iran. So it's seemingly a complete disgust of all of the actions, all of the heinous actions of the Trump administration. So like I said, this just doesn't, this doesn't read, and again, maybe you guys can read it and tell me what you think, but this doesn't read to me. It doesn't feel like the statements from, sorry, I just saw a section of this that's crazy. There's a section of it where he says, I guess he's trying to pre-watch what people's reaction is going to be. And one of the, I guess, like attempted pre-watches is, quote, you didn't get all of them, which in hindsight is almost a little funny because he didn't get anyone. But his reply, his rebuttal to the pre-watching commentary is, gotta start somewhere. Dude, and the starting somewhere is getting immediately grabbed by Secret Service. Okay. Does he name any specific targets? He talks about Kash Patel. No, wait. He actually doesn't talk about Kash Patel. He says like other than Kash Patel. He just describes what he wants to do, and he says like this is the order of targets. And he basically says like that the guests are not people that are targets, and that hotel employees are not targets, and that all of the guard and the security are not targets unless they shoot at him. And he says all of the administration officials, not including Mr. Patel, are targets. I don't know why he singles out Kash Patel. I'm not really sure. He must have known bro was getting cucked. He was staying in the hotel prior. He's like, you're going to get fired. You're actively getting cucked. Your girlfriend out holding hands with some other bro. You're suffering enough. I don't need to kick you when you're down, bro. And by the way, guys, this is like actually terrible news for this fucking country. When you have people that are relatively normal that are committing violent actions like this out of desperation because they think that it has to get done, which is what he describes in his manifesto, that he doesn't want to be the person to do this, but nobody else is doing anything, it is bad. Like, we are fucked. This is not a recession indicator. This is not a depression indicator. This is like the empire has fallen indicator. And we can discuss analysis without justification, but you have to understand that, like, this is when someone who has like family, when someone who has friends, someone who has a job, has hobbies, someone who is an otherwise well-adjusted adult and is describing this as something that they don't want to do, but they feel like someone has to do it. We're like fucked. Like, it's actually, and again, I'm comparing him relative to other lone wolves or whatever. Because most lone wolves are like, they're completely cut off from their family, they're completely cut off from their friends. Even Luigi Mangione, who was like, out of all of the cases, one of the more normal people who's committed a violent action against X, Y, or Z person, even his friends said that before the shooting, he became very distant. Allegedly, excuse me, allegedly. He became very distant and he stopped hanging out with people and he started removing himself from societal contact. Whereas it doesn't seem like this is, like, this guy does not fit any of the archetypes that we see normally with these cases. Like, think about Elliot Rodgers, which is such a classic lone wolf case where, like, friendless, doesn't speak to his family, has 19 years old and is like, there are no foids that love me, which means I need to kill all of them. Like, this is not that guy. This is not him. There's no like self-aggrandizing in this document. There's no like righteousness in this document. In fact, it's like there's an entire section dedicated to like thanking everyone in his life. Like, there's no despair in this. There's like, this is why I was pushing back against someone saying it's a necessary evil. No, this is an instance of someone thinking that what they're doing is a necessary evil. At the risk of all of you hating me for my camera being too big, can you guys look at my worm? Okay, thanks.